Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Kay Riley, and today on Oneness Talks, we welcome Candice Graciano of CG Healing. Candice specializes in personal transformation coaching, grief support, sound healing, and somatic-based healing. With nearly a decade of experience, she creates a nurturing space where individuals can relieve self-judgment, find comfort and loss, and reconnect with their inner strength. She holds certifications as a meditation instructor, Reiki practitioner, and sound healer, offering her clients a grounded and advanced approach as an energy facilitator and specialist in these fields. Her years volunteering in hospice as an end-of-life doula opened space not only for the soul to transcend, but for grief and loss to express, process, and transform on all levels of being. Candice offers one-on-one sessions, virtual connections, as well as group support for organizations looking to enhance and promote wellness. Candice, welcome to this episode. Thank you for taking time today to share everything that you are, everything that you love to do with our listeners. It's really, really special to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
So as we were speaking briefly before we started the recording, you and I, this is pretty much the first time that we've ever met.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we first became aware of each other on social media, right? Was it through TikTok? I think I saw you, right? As offering your beautiful healing harp. I don't want to give away too many surprises, but
yes.
And I just was like, oh my goodness, who is she? I need to connect with her. And your energy was just so beautiful and authentic and grounded, right? Which is really so important. But before we get into all that good stuff, I wanted to kind of take us back a little bit, right? Because I love when people really get an opportunity to learn a little bit about you, who you were before you became this version of you.
Sure.
So I know you grew up in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
You call yourself a Jersey girl. Like
I'm in Jersey, yes. I grew up in Hudson County.
In what county?
Hudson County in North Bergen.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
But I also see that you like to travel to Arizona and Costa Rica, right? Now that always interests me, right? When we kind of see like where we're geographically born into, right? Because each region holds its own calibration point. So talk to us a little bit about what life was like for you in New Jersey, what your environment was like, and what is it about Arizona and Costa Rica now that you're an adult that kind of called you there?
Well, I love Jersey because I thrive in chaos. Right? So I love the chaotic and the frenetic energy of the New Jersey, New York area.
Interesting.
I had a chance to go out to Arizona. One of my best friends at the time had moved out there. So when I started going out there and visiting, I really felt a connection to the energy out, especially, you go to Sedona, there's a lot of energy vortexes, there's a lot of mountains. I started getting into trail running and just became enthralled in being out there. But I always found myself definitely wanting to come back. So I like living in both of the spaces. And that's also what draws me to Costa Rica as well. My husband and I really love like vacationing there and spending a lot of time there.
Yeah.
And it's just you go and you have like these much calmer experiences. Well, for us anyway, it's much calmer when we go out there. And then there's that draw to come back here to a little bit more of like the chaotic energy. I like living in both of those spaces. And I love the heat too. So I like being in the heat.
Absolutely. 100%. And Arizona, the heat, it's a dry heat. So it's very different even from the heat that's here. you know, in New York and New Jersey area. And it's funny too, because I'm, you know, a New York girl. So I was born and raised in New York. And I'm listening to you say that you love the chaos. And it's so funny because New York is very much the same way.
Yeah.
Like you can feel the difference the moment you get close to New York. Like it's incredible. So I absolutely love that. And, you know, Arizona, I've been to, and but I've never been to Costa Rica. So I can only imagine that those two spots are very different and they offer you two very different frequencies of support, right?
Frequencies of support and definitely a different culture.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Absolutely.
Arizona's slow, you know, you slow down a little bit, but Costa Rica, you really slow down and you really get enthralled. It's such a beautiful culture and a beautiful community and a beautiful space to be in that it really gives you time to just slow down, appreciate, and breathe, which is something we don't often do in the States.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you feel like when you travel to Arizona and Costa Rica, you not only anchor in an energy of yourself there, but you come back and you bring a new frequency that then kind of just adds to services as a practitioner?
Absolutely. You come up with, because you have the time to kind of slow down for a couple and relax and breathe and reconnect with yourself, you come back with so many ideas and so many new things.
Yeah, and it's an incredible way to kind of just upgrade your own energy, and then by that virtue it's just enhancing your own practice.
Yes.
And the exchange that you have with your clients and stuff. So looking back on your childhood, was there any like early signs of like your sensitivity and that you would eventually be led into sound healing?
I'm not, you know, when you look back at it, I was always a little more sensitive, I think, to energy. And I always wanted to help people, you know, but I never really knew how that was going to ever happen. But when I look at my childhood and even, you know, my teenage years and into my adult, like my 20s, I was always the person that people came to for some type of advice or just to talk to or to vent to. And I always loved like psychology and you know, how the brain worked and things of that nature, but I was not really school or college material. To be honest, it was not my path at all. So I knew that it was something that I really wanted to help people, but I never knew how that was going to actually happen.
Wow. It's funny how that is, right? I hear so many people say that same very thing, that people always just naturally felt gravitated to them. You know, they felt safe with them, even though you may not have realized that you were providing something like that for them vibrationally, because everything is vibration first. Right. Yeah, it really is. There's so much power and truth to that. Yeah. Now, I saw on your website yesterday, too, that I didn't know that you actually are an avid runner, which I thought was just fascinating, right? Because there's so much physicality when it comes to running, right? So talk to us a little bit about your adventures, if you will. I know you mentioned when you went to Arizona that you used to go there.
Right.
You enjoy, I mean, it's perfect.
I started running in about 2010, just for like health benefits. And then by 2015, I was absolutely addicted just to marathons, half marathons. And then I think about 2017, I started running ultra races, which is anything over marathon distance. So my husband and I started training for, like, we ran our first 50K, and that was, I think it was 50K or 60K or something out in Arizona. That was our first ultra race ever. And it was absolutely insane. Like, we expected it to be hot and it was freezing cold. They got a flood. They had to change the whole course. Like, it was, people were getting hypothermia. It was like this insane experience. And we just loved it. You just learn so much about yourself in those moments when you think you have nothing left and you still have like 20 miles to go. From there, we ran 50s. We've tried our hand at a few hundreds. I've been a little too slow at those, so I'm working on that going forward to get through those. but I've been out of the game for a little bit because I was injured, and now I'm starting to train again for a marathon in June in Leadville, Colorado.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that, because I actually was going to ask you about that. I know, you had a challenge with an injury, because you talk about it again on your website a little bit. And so, I instantly went to like, well, injury always causes us to pause and to stop, right? Yeah. And it's like, tell us, like, so someone who's listening and perhaps might be in the same situation,
Sure.
Like, how is it that, pausing like that affects your purpose, your identity, right? You have to let go of control. There's so much in that. And now that you find yourself on the other side of that and training for something new, I mean, that's incredible just in and of itself.
And you bring up a really good point. That was my identity. Running was my identity. And I'll even get emotional about it because the community, I'm a certified running coach. I had clients. I mean, I did it every weekend. Every spare moment that I had was spent running and traveling for races, Las Vegas, California. I mean, my husband and I like traveled the country to run, and we ran every New York marathon that was my identity. And when I was injured, it was hard. I got really, really depressed. It's been about 4 to 5 years. There were times where I didn't think I was ever going to be able to get back to it, but it did afford me more time to really sit in my practice of sound healing and to cement myself as a sound healer and actually be able to feel confident enough to say it, because I spent so much time with my bowls and with my instruments because I physically couldn't do it. And it's interesting now that I'm back in training again, the balance of not wanting to lose what I built with my sound healing. Because I could, both times I was still working with life and grief coaching clients. But I wasn't, definitely not as deep into my sound. There would be like weeks where I wouldn't even touch my bowls. And then once I really got injured and I couldn't do it, it was all in on my sound healing.
Wow. So, wow, you can really, really see, you can kind of see the orchestration of life, right? Because we make our plans and we think they're going to go, everything looks beautiful on paper. And then we begin to move. And I can't help but just see how it was so important for you, for your physical vessel, to do what it needed to do with running and to fortify you and to bring all that momentum and movement. And then you discovered bowls along the way, but running was still taking all of your, not all of it, but it was really kind of fulfilling that part of you. And then through this jolt of stop, it's like it allowed you to just cultivate this even deeper relationship with the bowls. Now you get to bring both into like running and stuff, and like it's just so beautiful. It's actually beautiful. It's not when you're going through it,
right? But when you look back at it, definitely.
Someone who's going through a challenge right now, I mean, it's really hard, but it's also very uplifting to hear your story, which is that just stick with the detour, because sometimes it's going to put you right back on the path, and then it's going to be even better than you thought.
But to also not give up on that thing, right? Like I could have easily just given up on running and been like, well,
absolutely,
I'm injured and that's it. And it's never going to and I never gave up on that. But now that I can run again and the training is happening and I'm training for this race, my mind is very forefront of, okay, now you have to get up at like 4 a.m. because you have your live for your sound bowls at 7 and you have these clients, and you can't, this has to be in the forefront.
I love that.
You still have to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I, just listening to the story for the first time, I can totally see how you're being prepped for much, much bigger things, right? I think it's going to be an exciting time for you in this year of 2026.
I hope so. Thank you.
I'm glad you're going to be in Colorado doing that other thing that you love to do that gives so much back to you, right?
Yeah.
It's very personal. Now, I want to move into 2019. just for a brief moment, right? Because I feel like this really, really initiated a lot of things. And, as I was tuning into your story a little bit that you share online, I can only imagine, what it was like for you because you experienced a deep loss. And interestingly enough, the world went through what it went through in 2020. So not only had you experienced this profound loss in your life, but then like a year later, like the world was just turned upside down, so which I'm sure had another layer of impact to you, right? So how do you think grief kind of not only reshaped you, but kind of connected you deeper to the sound bowls? Like, what was that like for you?
Well, I had been going to sound like meditation and sound baths since I think around 2017, 2018, maybe. But in 2019, my best friend passed away, and it was a really traumatic experience. And I was having a very hard time healing from that. And like, you don't always heal from grief, but I was really stuck in it. Everything was gray. And I stopped running. I stopped doing anything this was like before injury, anything that I really enjoyed. It was very, very heavy for me. And a friend of mine who's a beautiful sound healer, her name is Lene. She offered me a sound bath on FaceTime one day to help me through it. I remember I was in Arizona at the time, and it really helped me shift my energy. I felt something lift, and I felt like I could see color again.
Wow.
And I had gotten certified as a grief coach after I've been certified as a life coach since about 2018, I believe. I got certified as a grief coach after my friend passed away. And I was like,
I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah, that's what pushed me. That's what moved me into being certified as a grief coach. Yeah. So when I had this sound healing and I had this profound experience of actually feeling lighter again and color coming back into my life, I was like, I have to bring this to my clients. It was definitely a moment of a message that you need to do this. And then from there, I got certified in sound healing.
Oh, wow. I love that I heard you say that you felt like you got color back into your life and you could see color, because I don't know what your experience is like as a sound healer, but people think that they're listening to the crystal tones, and they are, but it facilitates the activation of the light body, right? And it allows cellular regeneration and everything. And I just love the perfection of what you just said, which was that you could see color again, right? And that just shows that even despite the grief, right, if someone's listening and they're in deep grief, that the tones of the crystal bowls help you to just recalibrate out of that, right?
Yes.
And it's powerful, powerful medicine.
It really is. It's very sacred and very powerful.
Yeah. And it's so hard, to understand like why things happen the way they do, and why so often grief becomes the activator and the initiator, right, for so much transformation, and
what happens is sometimes the only way to heal is to step into action.
Totally. 100%. So now, is that what you feel? Yeah. Is that what you feel like you did when you decided to go and become a?
Yes. I was stuck. I was so stuck in this space and so sad. And when this happened and it was like, you need to bring this to your clients, well, the only thing to do is to move into action and do it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that in and of itself is holy sacred ground.
Yes.
To be able to assist someone who's moving out of the body and returning back to source, like there's nothing like it, right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really sacred and holy work. I really celebrate you for doing that, because you really are angels, on earth. Truly, I don't say that lightly. Like it's very sacred work. Yeah, amazing. So now I think I want to move us into the crystal bowls, right? And the sound healing and what it is that you're doing today. And, as we look back on our life, we can understand that, the challenges that we go through really bring us to that next point. We're always moving forward into that next point. So tell us a little bit about how you view sound as a language, right? Because, so go ahead.
Well, I do subscribe to the notion that everything vibrates, right? I mean, we vibrate, our cells vibrate, our tissues vibrate, our organs vibrate, everything is vibration.
Yeah.
And that's what the bowls and the sound assists with. I always say, like, it's like if a song is out of tune and the vibrations help bring us back into tune. So the bowls that I play are, it's a chakra set. So each bowl is the frequency of the 7 main chakras. So when we're listening to it, it's helping to realign us and to unblock those energies and to bring us back into tune.
Yeah, guys, it's an incredible thing. Again, I saw Candice for the first time on TikTok when she was, offering a sound healing, and it's quite profound. And you have a beautiful following. So anyone who's watching and listening, if you've never experienced the bowls and you want to have an experience, you definitely want to find Candice, and I'll be sure to include all the details for how you can connect with her in the description of the video. It's incredible. And if you have had an experience, you have not experienced them the way it's facilitated with Candice, because she is truly embodied in the work. You can see it, you can feel it, you can sense it, and I believe that makes all the difference, really.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. If you had, and this might be a silly question, if you had to pick, what do you feel more of an affinity for naturally? Would you say it's the bowls, or would you say the crystal harp? Do you work with tuning forks? Like, is there something that kind of calls you a little bit more?
I love all of my instruments, but the bowls will always be really special to me. Like, if you said you had to pick one instrument to play for the rest of your life, it would always be the bowls to me. As much as I love my harp,
yes,
it would be the bowls. It's my first love, and
I love that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Now,
I love my harp, though. Don't get me wrong, but
now, are those the bowls behind you?
Yes. So these are, I have 8 bowls here. I have 7 quartz crystal and 1 alchemy bowl, and I have 2 Tibetan bowls.
Wow, that's incredible. So now this is where you do your lives, I gather?
So this is where I do my TikTok lives.
Yeah, I recognize the skylights.
Oh yeah, the skylights.
So beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful space. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Of course.
So, when you're facilitating the sound healing, what is that experience like for you as a practitioner? Because I know some people stay very, I almost want to say it's kind of like channeling, like you have some people who are trance channel and they kind of just lift up and out while they're facilitating. And then there are others that are really fully anchored here and they're kind of moving both. What's the experience like for you as a facilitator?
I'm in both. So if I'm live, like if I'm with a client one-on-one, or I'm at a group, or I'm at a corporate event, first and foremost, it's what does the client need? What are they telling me that they need, right? Because I want to honor that, but then I'm also going to feel into whatever else comes up. So I'll, work through all the instruments that way and all the frequencies that are needed. But there are times where I will come back, I'll go somewhere else and I'll be playing and come back and 20 minutes will have passed and I'll have no idea what I did or what I played. Yeah. So it really comes from source.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, it's just channeling and bringing forth that higher aspect of you.
And when I do like TikTok lives, of course, I'm not with people. I can't directly feel their energy, but I'd like to chat with everyone before and kind of get an idea of what maybe the collective at the time is going through that's on the live, and then take it from there. But one of the things I always do is, regardless of what anyone is going through or what the event is work through the entire chakra system to start. just to align everyone, unblock anything that might be stuck, and then move into a deeper experience.
Yeah, it's so important to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So now what else? Like, I know you offer one-on-one coaching.
Yes.
Right? I believe you do corporate, right? You do corporate services as well, group workshops. And then I noticed, and then you have Reiki, right? I imagine you do Reiki. You do that virtually, and you do that do you do it in person too?
Yes, absolutely. And all of my sound healing sessions always start with Reiki. Like in person, if I have a one-on-one client in person, I start every session with Reiki and I end every session with Reiki.
Wonderful. And what would you tell someone, like if they were coming in for the very first time to have Reiki? Because it's such, I'm sure you've noticed along your path and journey and with your clients, like some people come in and they're like gung-ho. They're like, yeah, I'm ready for this. And then you have people who come in and they're really moving through a lot of different layers of perhaps resistance, right? For a lot of different reasons. So how do you, for anyone who's listening who might be really curious about having an experience, especially with you, because you create such a safe, sacred space, how do you kind of get them to relax into the idea of Reiki and crystal balls?
When clients come in, I mean, I've had plenty of people come in and tell me, even with life coaching and grief coaching, that they don't want any sound healing. They don't believe in it until we do it. So I always explain universal life force energy to anyone who comes in and does not know anything about Reiki. And I kind of just explain, you don't have to do anything. This is hands off. You can sleep if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
It tends to calm people. Like, you don't have to do, this is my work.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
I love that.
To just relax. And then we'll start with a meditation and we'll just do a few things, some sage, some candles, some scents, just to bring people down a little bit.
Exactly. Right.
Most of the time when people hear they don't have to do anything, it's like a breath of fresh air. And that they can sleep.
Indeed.
That really gets them.
100%. It's like quieting down the monkey mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that's why they say that words don't teach, right? It's the facilitation of it that really, when people have that tangible experience with bowls and they can feel like your insides vibrating ever so subtly, like even when they get to that point, but just the relaxation in the beginning is oftentimes enough for people to go, oh, wow, I can really kind of ease into this, right?
And I always let people know it's okay if your mind is busy. Just acknowledge it and then just let it go. And it takes 10 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes for your brain to entrain and to relax and to get into it. So you just like let people know it's okay. Whatever's coming up, no judgment. Be compassionate with yourself, right? We're all going to think things. Just let it come, acknowledge it, let it go. No stress.
Yeah, no stress. Yep. So when you go into a corporate environment where there is oftentimes a lot of stress, right? Because that system is built for performance, deadlines, right? There's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
How do you kind of get a group to settle in? Like that must be amazing too. And what their reaction must be like after that, like after the experience.
So with group sessions, corporate, most of the time, as everyone's settling in, I go around with the harp and start breath work.
Ooh.
Very slowly walking around the room, working everyone through just some really simple, just breathing exercises, relaxing your jaw, dropping your shoulders, opening your heart space. And then just letting them, you really have to let them know, we're going to start with the harp, and then you're going to hear silence, and then I'm going to head over to the bowls. And it's just a gentle explanation and really breath work to just to calm them down, to really drop them into the space that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And then a calming, bringing them out. So normally I'll walk around with the chimes. I welcome everyone back. If anybody wants to share out loud, they can. If anyone wants to share privately, they can. And then I just sit there in silence and let them either come or go.
I love that. Yeah. That must be amazing. And I love that some corporate companies are finally starting to be open and they recognize not only the importance, but that the collective is really desiring something more, right? You know, it's no one wants to, we can no longer, the energies on the planet at this time and all the assimilation that our bodies are doing with these new frequencies, we cannot keep going at this rate.
No, it's so fast. It's just going too fast, and people just need to come back down a little bit and slow down. And I don't like to slow down, but I know I need to slow down.
I love that. I love that. So talk to us a little bit about your one-on-one coaching. How long have you been doing that? And, you know, what type of one-on-one coaching do you do? Do you offer so people know what services they could reach out to you for?
So I am a certified life coach. I believe I was certified in 2018. It's been a long time through the Coaches Training Institute. And it's really where you are now to where you want to be. We really focus on, we do a really deep dive session into what you're honoring, what you're not honoring, sometimes people come to me and they're really depressed because they're stuck. Sometimes people want to change jobs. Sometimes it's relationship. It's whatever you're going through now. And then we work on where you want to be. And it's through a lot of guided conversations, a lot of question and answer. We have the answers inside of us. We know what we want. It's giving people the confidence to step into that.
100%.
Right. And we touch on the past a little bit because that's needed, but we don't hang out there. We don't live there very long because I can't change it and you can't change it. We can't change it. So what can we do now to get you to this place that you want to be at? And if you don't know where you want to be, we'll figure that out as well. Because it's in there. It's usually the confidence to just say it out loud.
Ooh, that's a powerful one.
Yeah.
It's a powerful one. I love that you said that. How many times do we sit with something and we sit with it here? We sit with it here. We sit with it here, and then you never let it out, right? Yeah, and I believe as a facilitator, again, you creating a sacred space for people to feel safe, to be seen and heard is so, so important.
Thank you.
Really important.
It really is. And with grief coaching, so I've been certified since 2019, I believe. I started, I think, in October. And we never really heal from grief, most people, right? And grief could be losing someone. It could be losing a job, a relationship, a house, a pet. Grief encompasses friendships. Grief encompasses a lot of things. It's not about getting over it. It's about learning to walk beside it.
Mm-hmm.
How can we invite it in? Ask it what it needs and be friends with it because it's with us. So we work on tips and ideas and things that help you to be able to walk beside it, to be able to process it in ways that help you rather than harm you. And a lot of times it's just talking about it. And a lot of times we process grief. The way that we process grief has to do with things that happened to us in our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So grief coaching tends to work on a lot of inner child work. Not always, but we've noticed that a lot of times the way that we grieve is because something has happened in the past. So we do a lot of healing there so that we can heal here.
Oh, wow. I love that, Candice. Yeah, I love that. I hadn't actually really made that connection, when it comes to grief and loss like that you're right. The way that you grieve is connected to childhood and how you were either allowed to express or not express and feel.
Yes.
Wow.
And a lot of how we grieve also is not knowing how we're going to move forward. And that not only not knowing how we're going to move forward, but are we allowed to move forward? That you have permission to move forward, especially in relationships where someone has passed away, maybe a spouse or a partner, or a family member or a parent, that it's okay to be happy again.
Ooh.
That it's okay to find joy and new relationships and giving yourself permission. permission to grieve and permission to move forward are two really big things in grief work.
Yeah, I imagine. And, you know, it's so interesting too. I mean, everyone, you know, at some point in time in their life experiences grief and loss of a loved one. But I often find, and I'm curious to see how you feel about this, being a specialist in this area, how is it that you actually, like, do you support the friends or perhaps family members of someone who has experienced that loss? Because the individual who experiences the loss is no longer the same person, right? That person is gone. And now the remnants, you know, the people that are still around you, like sometimes they don't know how to handle that change. And that impacts the connections and the relationships. And then sometimes ultimately they can't even survive after that, right? Which,
Yes.
so
In my experience, I've always invited them in. I've said to the client, you can bring them in. No one has ever taken me up on that offer. So that is not something that I can honestly speak on in changing those relationships because I haven't had that experience. I would love to have that experience, but so far it hasn't happened yet on my end. But we do work on communicating, like how to communicate, because a lot of healing, life coaching, grief coaching is communication with ourselves and communication with others. So we do work on that.
I love that, Candice. I love it. I love it. I love this conversation because once again, it just kind of validates the depth of and presence of you. I think it was one of the things that I really saw, other than being like totally enamored with what you were doing with the bowls and everything.
Thank you.
But I truly believe that nothing really prepares you for what you're going to do in life quite like grief and loss, because you find yourself at this choice point where you have to make a decision. I'm either going to go forward, right? And then by virtue of that, you open up something new, not only for yourself, but for other people. But it cultivates such a deep presence, and it's something that you can recognize, right? So I could see your strength and your presence, even though you're in this light etheric space. And once again, that's something that is so uniquely different, which is to have that grounded experience. Because again, words don't teach, right? It's you can't offer something to someone that you haven't really gotten deep and personal with, because that's the heartbeat of what you offer. You've been there, so you know what someone is going through, and that's just, it's incredible medicine, really. So thank you for walking and living your path, because here you are offering this space of like, oh wow, I can get to the other side of something, right?
We always get to the other side.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Love that, love that. Now, before you go,
Sure.
I would love if you could show everyone who's tuning in that crystal harp. Just if no one's ever seen it before, guys, you gotta check this out.
I'm gonna go grab it.
It's incredible, incredible, incredible. And I tell you, when Candice has that harp, I almost feel like she transforms into like this celestial Atlantean mermaid shifting creature. It's just incredible. Yeah, so there it is.
So this harp is from a company called Sacred Forest. It's 99.8% quartz crystal. It's handmade in Poland.
Wow.
This harp is tuned to a frequency of 432 hertz.
Oh, beautiful.
Right. 432 is often said to be a miracle tone. It's a frequency that most closely aligns with our natural energy and with Earth's energy. It helps to reduce stress and anxiety. It lowers cortisol levels. It helps to promote sleep and relaxation. It quiets the mind and the body. And it also helps us feel closer to source. Whatever source is for you,
Mm-hmm.
we'll take that.
Love that.
There you go.
these all hollow cylinders on there, right? They're all hollow cylinders.
There's 8.
Absolutely incredible.
And this
Absolutely.
particular one is in a C sharp scale.
So they all come like with different, what is it, like music note or
Different scales.
different scales. Oh, wow. Absolutely amazing. I'm telling you, everyone who's tuning in, you want to check out Candice on TikTok. You definitely want to get in and tune into one of her lives because it's super special, incredible. Candice, I'm sure you'll provide me like with all the information, like even like the times that you offer it on TikTok, so we can.
I am live every morning at 7:30 a.m. Monday through Friday Eastern. And every evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, as long as I'm home Monday through Sunday.
Okay. Awesome.
I'm usually home. So.
Fantastic. So I'll be sure to include all the delicious details for how you can connect with Candice, how you can experience transformation in these crazy times upon this planet right now. At this time, it's needed now more than ever. But even though we see some chaos ensuing in the world, we remind ourselves that this was part of the collective recalibration point and that this is not forever, this is for now. And if you need support in managing your anxiety, your stress, or anything else, Candice would be the perfect person to reach out to for that support. So, Candice, thank you for being here today. Thank you for living your life and path. And thank you to everybody who's tuning in to today's episode. From my heart to yours, big love.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
How was that? I totally